What's up, Michigan State fans? It's Jacob Katzanik here, back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. This is the podcast for Saturday, December 20th, 2025. Do some pregame thoughts here on the Michigan State Oakland game. Here, recording this on Friday night. We'll head down to Detroit on Saturday morning, of course, for the game. Should be an interesting one, per usual. I always kind of enjoy the Michigan Oakland game, personally, just because it's I haven't gone to one at Little Caesars Arena yet. I haven't covered a game at Little Caesars Arena just yet. That'll be a first for me. That'll be fun. It'll be fun for me personally, career wise, but also the basketball game. It should definitely be good because you always have like Tom Izzo and Greg Campy seem to be like best buds. Their friendship is well documented. They're going to have Christmas sweaters again this year. I think that's basically what Izzo said. We'll see what type of Christmas sweaters they wear, but Izzo kind of had a funny joke like, you got a technical foul, I think, in this game a couple of years ago, and he's like, you try getting a technical foul when you're the Grinch. Kind of gets a little embarrassed saying that. But as for Michigan State, though, in this game, obviously they're looking to reach 11-1 on the season. This is their second to last non-conference game, so they have to kind of figure themselves out a little bit more in this game. They have break after this. They come back and have a non-conference game against Cornell on Monday the 29th, so they're going to have a little more than a week in between games. And then after that, you go right into the weeds of Big Ten play. They have a road game against Nebraska to open things up. Last I looked, Nebraska is still unbeaten. Yes, they are. Almost certainly will be as well when they play Michigan State. They have two games between now and then, and it's against North Dakota and New Hampshire. And Ken Palm gives them a 99.6 and a 99.7% chance to win each of those games respectively. So chances are you're going to get, what did I just say, a 13-0 Nebraska team on the road in kind of like not the actual Big Ten opener, but the real Big Ten opener for all intents and purposes, because that starts the long run, 18 straight Big Ten games plus however many games you play in the Big Ten tournament and then March Madness. So, again, one of the things I'm going to be looking for in this game is the two-guard spot. Per usual, I think that's the first thing you have to be looking for every single game, because that is the one spot really in Michigan State's starting lineup that hasn't been solidified. Colin Carr's kind of had a couple of interesting games. I don't think you're really close to removing him out of the starting lineup, though. It's that two-guard spot. It's been Divine Ugochukwu the last two games. He played great in that Penn State game. I don't think they win that game if he didn't play so well. Really, if he just had an average game, they probably lose that game to Penn State. But Ugochukwu had a career game at the perfect time. They got the win on the road there in that one. And then they went and played Toledo. I think he had 2 points in about 17, 18, 19 minutes. So again, there's still not been enough consistency at that spot. In that last game, it was Curtain who played well in that spot. Went 4 for 5 from 3. Again, that's what you're looking for. Someone else who can hit the three ball from at the guard. Jeremy Fears can shoot now pretty well. I can't remember looking at the stats here. He started off hot, but he's actually at 33% now. So I think he's kind of in a bit of a shooting slump. But Kohler's been shooting it fantastic, but you need someone else who can reliably shoot the three ball. Curtain is starting to find the rhythm there. He's at 40.5% on the season. You'll take that every time from him. But again, it's been disappointing from Trey Ford. I think that's what everyone thought was going to happen when they picked him up, is that he'd be the two guard. But he's shooting below 30% on the year. So he hasn't been consistent enough in that regard. Divine Ugochukwu's been shooting it surprisingly well. He's 11 for 22 on the season. Again, he went 5 for 5 from deep in that game against Penn State. And what makes it so surprising is he was 6 for 34 all season at Miami last year. That's 17.6%. Having the stats pulled up right in front of me right here. But you're still not seeing guys just kind of consistently put out the same level of performance every single time and do it at a starting level. So, and you don't want to be fiddling with the lineups every game in the Big Ten. You just don't. You don't want to have to. Tom Izzo, I don't think or the coaching staff wants to put that kind of effort into who are we going to play. Who are we going to put in the starting lineup every single time? You want to kind of be more focused on the scout of the opponent. Again, and this is something Izzo stressed last year, is that it's kind of tougher than ever to go through the conference grind is as tough as ever because you don't have many rematches. It's toughest to play the team the first. It's a lot easier to maybe to scout the team the second time because you already have a whole body of work from the first one, but you only play 3 teams twice now. It used to be 7, I'm pretty sure, when you had a 14 team conference. I think trying to do that. I think, yeah, it's 7 teams. So like it's a lot tougher when you're playing almost every team in the conference. That's 14 out of the 17 other teams. You're only playing them one time. Once you get to the Big Ten tournament, though, it kind of resets, but you also only have like 1 days of, you don't have any rest, basically, once you get past that first game. But, and again, that's what, especially these 2 games, Oakland, Cornell, 2 games, Michigan State should probably win going away, but you'd like to see some 20-point, 30-point victories here in these games. We'll see what happens. Again, Oakland's going to be putting up a fight because this is kind of, this is their big game as well. These 2 teams play pretty much every single year. I think they've played in the non-conference every year since 2012 now. I thought it was longer than that, but I mistakenly thought it was like the 2011-12 or 2010-11 season they didn't actually play. And then it goes, before that there was a streak that was up until like 2000 or something, So these teams play pretty much every single year, and Oakland has never beaten Michigan State. Greg Campy, can't read his mind, but I'm going to have to imagine he would really like to get a win over his good pal Izzo over there so he can kind of dangle that one time he beat him. Like if you have like a little sibling, they beat you in a video game or something, like they're gonna hold on to that a little bit for a while, no matter how many times you beat them. It's because Campy knows that Oakland and Michigan State are kind of playing different sports here in that way, but for Michigan State to just kind of roll over and get a win here in this one, I think you really have to dominate the boards. First things first, they should absolutely be able to do that against Oakland. Oakland's their rebounding is not very good. They don't have a lot of size as well. They've got some 6'6", 6'8" players, but Michigan State's going to be rolling out 6'10" Jackson Kohler, 6'11" Carson Cooper, and the rebound stats really show an advantage for Michigan State in that way, because looking at again, these are kind of analytics, but just rebound margin, Michigan State's average is like plus 13. Oakland's is minus 2. So that's about a 15 differential right there. 15 or 16, might be 16 if you do some rounding. But in terms of offensive rebounding percentage, like Michigan State barely allows any offensive rebounds. It says percentage-wise, like in terms of total opportunities, Michigan State's 4th in the country in that on KenPom. And then on the other end, when Michigan State's the one getting the offensive rebounds, it says they're 7th in the country. Oakland in those stats are 273rd and 245th. They're below average in both of those stats. Michigan State had a great rebound game in that game against Toledo. It was a plus 30. It was just video game numbers. Plus 30 rebounding advantage, and I think you'd like to see that kind of continue in this way. I'm going to be curious to see what Oakland's rebounding philosophy is in this one, because I think Toledo wasn't really crashing the boards very much to start the game, because they knew they couldn't really contend too much on the offensive glass. So they were just trying to get back on defense. It didn't really seem to work that well because Michigan State got a lot of fast break points in that game. So I'm going to be curious to see what Oakland does in that way. They like to play that funky zone defense, so we'll have to see. That's another thing to watch, is that Oakland has kind of some unique things they do on defense. So you'd like to really see some easy looks, try to break the zone. Because, again, that's why they lost the Duke game. Duke broke out that zone at the very end. Didn't seem like Michigan State was expecting it, and they were kind of a little shell-shocked, and they didn't score enough points at the very end. They didn't make their shots at the very end, because I think they were a bit surprised that Duke broke out a zone after playing man basically the entire game. Maybe the entire game. I haven't really gone back and watched it, but they broke out a zone at the very end, and it worked. That was a really good move by John Shire, and Izzo joked it on his radio show, I think the other day, like we'd be 11-0 if their coach knew how to break the zone. I mean, that's always kind of been joked about as Izzo's kryptonite. It's obviously a little more complex than that, because if you could just play a 2-3 zone and beat Michigan State every single time, teams would do that. But obviously, eventually, if you play a zone for so long, teams are going to figure it out. That's kind of how it goes. But you're probably going to see some zone defense from Oakland, so you'd like to see Michigan State's offense combat that a little bit more. So those are some of my keys for that game. Another little thing, too, as well, hit the 3-ball as well. That's kind of every game ever, but it's a little different in this one because the NBA line, there's going to be an NBA line and a college line on the court, because the Pistons actually play at LCA that night. I actually can't hang around LCA to write too much after the game because they're kicking people out so people can cover the Pistons, which is obviously the priority at Little Caesars Arena. But what was that? Yeah, Izzo was like reminding players like you have to kind of be aware of where you truly aware of where you are on the court because you might accidentally take an NBA three. That's unnecessarily difficult because it's like 2 feet longer at the top of the key, I believe, than the college 3-point line. It's just kind of muscle memory for these guys on the court to just kind of look at where the furthest line is because they're used to only having one line and then taking the three from the NBA line maybe. I think Izzo said they took a bunch of NBA threes in last year's game, which was also at Little Caesars Arena. So, and also NBA arenas are bigger. And one little sciencey thing, nerding out a little bit, is when you're shooting the three, you're judging the rim, obviously as well to how hard you're going to shoot it, what kind of trajectory you're going to put on it, but you're also subconsciously looking through the backboard and gauging the seats to try and see, how hard to shoot it as well. That's a change. These guys aren't used to shooting in NBA arenas too much. So they'll have shoot around as well to kind of figure themselves out in that way. But it's not the Breslin Center. They're not. It's different. The seating is going to be a little bit further back, which might. I think I can't remember if it's like it means they're usually going to be a little bit too short because it's going to think that you're further away and then you might short arm it just a little bit. It might be a reason like people joke about Madison Square Garden, Michigan State fans do, about they don't shoot very well at Madison Square Garden. That was different this year, but historically that's kind of how it's been, and that might be a reason why. Because the NBA arenas it's just further out. It's a challenge. So that's that's a little thing, just a little thing. But you'd really like to see Michigan State keep hitting the three ball, which they've done really well as of late. So we'll see what happens in this game, though. Again, I'll be there at Little Caesars Arena. Excited for that. Once again, though, I'm Jacob Katsunika. Thank you for tuning in, whether this is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, any other type of platform. Thank you very much. You can get all of our written content here at Spartan Nation at SpartanNation.com or Michigan State Spartans on SI. We'll see what happens with this game. We'll have plenty of content from it. But until next time, I'll see you guys around.